I've recently become really interested in the idea of gardening, and I don't know why, but it's awoken this really strange and niche desire in me to have an army of basil, like unlimited basil, enough to make like pesto and bruschetta and pasta sauces and the works, really. But the issue is, I'm a bit more of a musician than a gardening farmer type. I would say the extent of my farming knowledge is Minecraft, which I'm pretty good at, to be honest. I've made some pretty awesome automatic farms. But I don't have redstone here. And I've been putting this off and putting this off and putting this off, and I can't put it off any longer because it's the last month of spring. Now, I've tried to grow some basil before, but it didn't go too well. I tried to keep like a big plant alive during winter. That didn't go too well. I made some mini plants from cuttings of basil. Only one of those is still alive, and I tried to grow some directly from seed. That didn't go too well either, but I'm gonna say that all those failures are because I was trying to do it in autumn, and basil likes spring and summer, apparently. So where am I gonna have my armada of basil, you might ask? I rearranged this room and made it as creative as possible a few months ago, but there's one spot I didn't touch, and it's right out there on the balcony. I think that's the perfect spot for like a tub of basil. Like I envision it growing up to the, maybe that's too ambitious, who knows? But yeah, before I go and get all the equipment and things that I need for this, I gotta do some planning, some research, and then write a shopping list. I'm thinking one big tub basically, and I'm thinking the length of it could be 1.5 meters by 75 centimeters. I think that'll give me enough room to like be here on the side, but also will maximize the thing. But I also don't know how deep we want this sort of thing. Like 30 centimeters maybe? Is that too much? This is my room here. And that's the door outwards. And if you turn left, that's the balcony area where I think that we'll put the basil. But if we can't get a tub that's big enough, we could do 2 tubs like this way, or we could have like a few big ones here or something like that. That's less ideal because, I don't know, it doesn't tessellate properly and there's like heaps of empty space here. But I guess I could put smaller ones here and here in between them. Or even if we can get like super long ones like this, I wouldn't be mad at that. But yeah, those are just a couple ideas. Plan A is definitely big tub, lots of basil. It just seems like the easiest and the coolest to me. You know? Let's see what they have. Nothing seems to be long enough. This is the closest thing to what I've been looking for I've been able to find, but it's only 80 by 34 centimeters. I'd need like 4 of those. Okay, I think I'm gonna move on from trying to find this tub thing for now and maybe go to the store and see what they have and make that decision there. But next on the list is what type of basil plants. I'm pretty sure I want to try doing it from seed and from seedling, and then maybe buy like an actual full plant already to like see how they go. Then comes soil, but like, surely I can just put it in whatever soil, right? Potting mix for vegetable, herb, etc. Cool, we'll do that. And then one thing that I actually didn't mention yet is that I want to try doing some tomatoes. I've heard somewhere that growing actual veggies instead of just herbs is a lot more difficult, because I think they might have to like grow up a vine or like something before you pull them off. I don't know what that means. Fuck, jeez, I'm really exposing myself here.
If you're in a small space, go with a bushing type. You can grow it at a little.
Well, that's fucking easy then.
For sauce tomatoes, go with a San Marzano, and for like a sandwich or beefsteak slicer.
San Marzano is definitely what I'm going for, because that's the one that you're supposed to use in all the Italian sauces. San Marzano. Solanum episcorosium. Yep. What are you? You're a tomato. I knew that much. This is complicated.
You need to match the container to the size and depth of the roots of what you're growing in it. So I drilled several holes. As potting mix can cost a bit, I've got an alternative, and that's to mix your own. I've got some stuff around the back of the greenhouse ready to mix.
This is so complicated, bro. I just want some basil and some tomatoes in a tub. Is that too much to ask? If I just wing this, how bad could it go? It's heating up in Australia, and I think that's gonna be enough. So let's just write this down. The internet's too complicated, man. Okay. I think I'll do some more, maybe just a little bit more research tonight, reading stuff and watching videos. And then tomorrow, let's go to the stores and pick up the stuff and then get cracking. Because this doesn't have to be that complicated, surely. It's like plant, in, ground, water, sun, grow, food, eat. Right? Right? I found out that with tomato plants, because they're like actual plants and have big fruit, you need to support them with some sort of like structure. So I think it's like a stainless steel thing is typical. So I'll need to buy 1 or 2 of those to like go over the plant so that when it grows up, it doesn't fall over, I think. Let's go. I can already tell I'm absolutely overwhelmed by the types of different plants and shit. The biggest issue I'm having right now is figuring out whether they are vine or bush. But it gives me some descriptors, but it doesn't actually tell me whether it ripens, it grows like a vine or a bush. And I know I need bush. Surely that should be common, like on the package. I don't know. The plants are too confusing right now, so I'm going to start with the pot, because surely that can't be that confusing. Realistically, one of these, I reckon. This is the closest thing that I could find to what I was thinking of, but it was just like 4 times too small, and it was too expensive, so I was just like not very happy. So I went in search of some different options. Low-key, could I just use a sandpit? No way. Maybe I could fill those up with like potatoes or something in future in the back garden, because I measured them and they're a bit too wide for my current situation, but could be a shout. Anyway, I went downstairs to look at like what my options are in terms of a similar sized thing, but just as a storage container, and they're not, yeah, they're like the same vibe, and they're not guaranteed to be like BPA free or whatever. So I think I'll probably check out one of these. That's more like it, 410. It was becoming clear that the original plan of one massive tub just wasn't going to happen, and the closest thing I could get was that rectangular one, and I just wasn't happy with it. So I ended up going for these circle ones, and here's me trying out like heaps of different arrangements of different sized ones, and I eventually came to a decision that I was kind of happy with. Does that work, do we think? I think I've decided. That's tub, ticked off. I don't actually have a pen, but tub. Done. Next up is getting some soil for this shit, because now I know how much I need. I feel like it's gonna be a lot. Ooh, here we go. That's a lot of soil. Tomato cage. It's really fucking long. Cool. Next up is plants. So after being overwhelmed by the amount of tomatoes that are here, I've decided I'm going to try the beefsteak ones because they look nice, and somewhere online said that could be a good idea. But I also kind of want to do like a vine one, like maybe a truss tomato or something. This one looks healthy. The only thing I need next is seeds for basil. So that was kind of hectic. I am tired. So I'm gonna go have some lunch, relax, and then maybe put this stuff together and get some plants in pots. This is the moment where I realized I didn't buy enough pots. I said at the beginning of the video I wanted an army of basil.
Unlimited basil.
This is more like a, I don't know, what's a small amount of basil. Yeah, wasn't super happy, but anyway, I ended up getting all the same type of basil, but at different stages of development. So on the left are the biggest, then on the right you got smaller. Then I got some ones smaller even, and then I got some seeds, just kind of so that I could stagger it and like see what liked this current climate the most, I guess. And in terms of tomatoes, I ended up getting the Roma and the beefsteak, which I didn't realize at the time, but both of them were the bushing type, which is probably for the best for my area. And here are the supporting structures for the tomatoes as they grow up. I got two different types because I thought the one on the left was fully plastic, but turns out it wasn't, so I'm pretty happy with that. And if you're wondering why there are two types of soil, it's because one on the left is cheaper and the one on the right's more expensive, which I assume means it's better. So I only just got one bag of the expensive one to test it was better, but I assume they're the same, right? So after watching a quick tutorial on like how to plant a tomato plant. Okay. I gave the pots a quick rinse. Out of the soil, I put the expensive one on the far back right one. And then it was time to plant my first ever tomato plant. Oh. Dirt has been dirted. This is how I've seen gardeners do it. You just... Oh. So we said like deep, but not too deep. So like we don't want to bury any of the actual leaves and shit. What? How have I done that? No. Well, rip. Like there. Oh, it's not in the middle. And he's in. Yes. I feel like he needs a name. Let me know in the comments. Our beefsteak tomato. It's a pretty epic name. How plump do those look? Oh yeah, this soil's way shittier. Needs to be broken up. That's way too deep. That is literally underground. Yeah, I feel like we don't want it that deep. Okay, tomato plant 2 is in. Let's go. That one's way shorter than the other one. Beefsteak on the left. We got Roma tomato on the right. I think I might prune like he did, like chop off some of these so they're not touching the ground. I don't know why he did that, but he did that, so I might copy. Fuck. Okay. Alright, surely that's enough. Let's go! We got tomatoes, baby! Okay. I think this is how it works. You can just do that. Right? Okay, I definitely bought too much basil for the pots that I have. Maybe I just get more pots. I think I've realized that I might have bought too much basil and that thing might have been all I needed, but I don't know if I'm allowed to have done this. I just divided them all into the individual ones. I might do it differently with these and use like little clumps, like use that cluster and that cluster and that cluster. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 individual plants. 10, 5, 5, and then use this one for the other ones. I reckon that's a good idea. Let's just see how it goes. I think I'm just gonna do that many for these. But now what I wanna do is deal with these ones which aren't as big. And instead of like dividing them completely, maybe just like in little clumps in there, I think. Let's try that. Yeah, so if I divide that. Okay. Maybe I put a little cute little companion boy over here. I don't know. Maybe it'll like it, maybe it won't. Alright, so the last one is these. Cool. So, as is customary for anyone with my personality, I've gone completely fucking overboard. Like at the beginning I said I wanted a basil army, and that didn't really feel like a basil army yet. So I've gotten like 6 more pots and some stuff for seeds, and I want to divide up those mini ones that I just put in into these and see if they can get big enough to repot again, so that we can have a fucking army for 5, 6, perfect. Oh, it's starting to sprinkle. 6 more basil plants, and now it's time for seeds. Whoa! Focus. That's small as. This is such overkill. Basically, because I have no idea what I'm doing, my strat here has been do as many as possible and some will survive. Hopefully, that's the idea, that's the thinking. Okay, last thing to do before we water them and get the mulch on is I actually need to put some supports in for these tomatoes, because otherwise they're gonna fall over apparently. Epic. Last thing left to do, a bit of mulch, mate. Bit of fucking mulch. I'm definitely making some like experienced gardeners cringe right now, because I've definitely overwatered these. So yeah, some of these look a little bit wilted right now, but hopefully after a bit more time here, they'll start to stand up again. I think that's enough for today. I'm fucking tired. So I'm gonna go let these drain for a bit, clean up the area, and then rearrange them into the spots that I want. And I think I'll see you tomorrow for a grand reveal of how it's all looking when I've got it set up. Good stuff today. So, it's now 2 days later and all the plants are looking really healthy, although disaster almost struck yesterday. It was a really hot, sunny day. I think it got to 27 or 28, and a lot of the plants were wilting. I discovered that this spot gets sun from like 11 till 2 or something. So the big plants, the ones which I divided like individually, they were absolutely hating it. And my theory is that I fucked with their roots way more than I fucked with the roots of the clumps of basil. So they were hating the sun, they were wilting. So I ended up moving them out into the shade and spraying them with a bit of mist to like help them cool down, which ended up working, and they kind of stood up a bit. They are definitely happier than they were before. And then overnight they stood up even more, and they're looking even more healthy now. And same with like some of the tomato leaves, they started wilting as well. The tomato plant is not happy either. Do we reckon that's good enough? Bit of shade? I don't know, man, I'm kind of worried about these. But overall, I am super happy with the way that they're like turning out. I've noticed this morning already we're starting to see new leaves come through, and I think it's because I exposed them to so much sun yesterday, and I think they'll really like this spot. I'm gonna have to like do a lot of learning and stuff about like pests, because I think some of the leaves got eaten by something when I moved them down to the shady area. Maybe less so here, but there are a lot of ants here, so I don't know how to deal with that. We'll figure it out. And I'll keep you updated on how these plants go if you're interested. I love making fresh pasta, and last night I made fresh pasta with basil sauce, like basil tomato sauce, as traditional as I can, and it came out chef's kiss. So hopefully my goal is to maybe be able to do one full meal of that with just stuff which I've created in this garden. Overall, 10 out of 10 experience. I am like stoked to have like all this basil. And if you don't know, like with basil, when it grows up, you can divide it like crazy. So all of these could turn into heaps more plants. And this is really fun. Plants are really cool. Hopefully you enjoyed this random ass video. It's definitely not a music video this week, but thanks for watching my garden adventures, I guess. Catch ya.